Hello and welcome to Fantasy Smack Talk. I'm Brent, sitting here with Dustin with the NBA trade deadline about 2 weeks away. We wanted to touch on 4 teams that's had a lot of talk in the rumor mills lately, and that's the Mavericks, the Sixers, the Rockets, and the Wizards. The Wizards and the Sixers are looking to dump some of their big contracts, which means that some of their younger, unproven players might be getting more minutes. So if that's the case, you're going to want to obviously pick them up. Whereas the Mavericks and Rockets are looking to acquire some big-name scorers and players, which potentially could hurt the value of some of those existing players. Now, of course, all these are rumors. Keep an eye on the local papers and try to win this battle, because what will actually happen is you'll set yourself up to make a good run for your playoffs. All right, Dustin, we have a question from the forum. Serrano50 wants to know, he's got Randy Foye. Should he drop him? And if he does, he can pick up Thornton, Collison, or your boy,
Nate Robinson.
Your boy.
Well, first of all, I think it's okay to drop Randy Foye. He has had a good little run here, but with this much talent on the waiver wire, it's kind of a no-brainer. As far as who you should pick up, short-term, Darren Collison, I think, has the most short-term value. I think Thornton has a little bit more long-term value than Collison, and he has great short-term value, also benefiting from the Chris Paul injury. But I think if you want to take a gamble, I think you go with Nate Robinson.
Shocker.
I think he has the most long-term potential if he gets traded and lands in the right situation. You're only going to have to wait it out 2 weeks to find out. If he doesn't get traded, you can go right back to the waiver wire and pick up someone else. But definitely drop Foye and pick up one of these players. Alright, let's get into the waiver wire and let's start with the must-adds in pretty much all leagues. And we start with Corey Brewer. He's only owned in about 55% of leagues right now, and he has found his shot and been playing great lately. He's scored 20 or more points in 6 of his last 11 games with 2 threes, averaging 2 threes during that span. We like Brewer moving forward, although he will be a little inconsistent. Next, we got Robin Lopez, owned in 45% of leagues. He's only playing about 25 minutes a game right now, but if Amari gets shipped out of town and they don't get a center in return, look for Lopez to play about 30 minutes a game and put up huge fantasy numbers.
Next, we're going to talk about 2 Hornets. The first one's Darren Collison. He's owned in only about 50% of leagues, and obviously with the injury to CP3, there's a lot to go around, but he's had 32 assists in his past 2 games. I mean, just ridiculous numbers, but of course when Paul comes back, that'll go down. The other one's Marcus Thornton. Now, he's the starting 2 guard, so even upon Paul's return, he'll still have some value, but right now he's averaging 20 points and 5 boards in the last week. I mean, obviously solid numbers. Alright, now we're going to take a look at some guys you should be adding in deeper leagues, or at least keeping an eye on. The first one's Mike Miller, owned in 58% of leagues. He's been battling injuries all year, but he's finally healthy, and last week he averaged 15 points, 9 boards, gets you 3 decent percentages. He's a good all-around player. Next on my list is Flip Murray, always a streaky player. He's only owned in 5% of leagues, but if you need a score, he's probably a good ad for you. And last on my list is Brandon Rush, owned in 45% of leagues. Again, this guy's a flat-out scorer. He's going to hit threes. That's pretty much, he's going to get you a few boards here and there, but Flip and Rush are just scorers. They can give you a boost in that category.
Moving on, we got Antonio McDyess, only owned in 25% of leagues, and surprisingly, he's been playing almost 30 minutes a game over the last 4 or 5 games. If he keeps this up, look for him to average about 12 and 6, 12 and 7, and be a great role player for your fantasy team. Moving down, we got another Spur in George Hill, owned in about 30% of leagues. He's been benefiting with the Tony Parker injury, but Parker will be back later this week. But Hill has proven that when he gets the minutes, he can put up solid numbers. So definitely keep an eye on him moving forward, and he is worth adding in deeper leagues. And the last guy is Taj Gibson for the Bulls, only owned in 15% of leagues. His numbers are really streaky, but he is a great source of rebounds and blocks, and he has a big upside if he can continue to play this many minutes. Look for his numbers to go up as the year moves on. That's it for this week's show. As always, get into our forums if you've got any questions or want to talk any basketball. I'm Dustin, this is Brent. We'll see you next week.